The interiors of Le Chuel's north wing were not intended to be included in the museum, but to be part of the imperial administration. At the west end, in the Turgot pavilion, and in the wing behind the pavilion, were the administrative offices of the Ministry of State, and on the first floor the lavish apartments of the minister himself. Other ministries whose offices were briefly housed here were the Ministry of the Imperial Household, after it was separated from the Ministry of State in 1860, the Ministry for Algeria and the Colonies, which existed only from 1858 to 1860, and the Ministry of Fine Arts, not created until 1870. The central part of the wing, the Richelieu Pavilion, and the wing behind it, was devoted to the Imperial Library. The Eastern Pavilion, the Colbert Pavilion, and the wing behind it held the Ministry of Telegraphs and the barracks of the Imperial Guard. The three courtyards were, at the western end, the Cour d'Honneur, the main courtyard, or the Cour du Ministre, the minister's courtyard. In the middle was the Cour des Guichets, the public counter's courtyard, or Cour de l'Horloge, the clock courtyard. At the eastern end was the Cour de la Poste, the post office courtyard. At the end of the Empire, in 1871, the spaces were not very differently organized. In the Turgot Pavilion, the Minister of State was, for a few months in 1852, Count François-Xavier de Casabianca. From 1852 to 1860, the minister was Achille Fould. He was also Minister for the Imperial Household for the same period. He then became Minister of Finance. It was Fould who supervised the decoration of the ministerial apartments. Fould was succeeded from 1860 to 1863 by Count Alexandre Kolonna-Walewski, illegitimate son of Napoleon I and Marie Walewska. His second wife, Marie-Anne di Ricci, was from 1868 to 1870 First Lady-in-Waiting to the Empress Eugénie. She was also the mistress of the Emperor from 1857 to 1861. Adolphe Biot held the post of Minister of State for a few months before his death in 1863. After that, the post was held by Eugène Rouher, known as the Vice-Emperor. Inside the Turgot Pavilion, the vestibule is not dissimilar to the Denon vestibule. The Ministry's vestibule is, however, perhaps more impressive. In it, the fluted columns and pilasters have crisp and powerful Ionic capitals. The groin-vaulted ceiling is of carved stone, the clear lines contrasting quite dramatically with the sculpted surfaces. In the Denon vestibule, the bottom third of the fluting of the columns and pilasters is cabled, which obscures their crispness. The capitals are a kind of slightly fussily decorated Doric. The barrel-vaulted ceiling is richly coffered, with a pattern matching the decoration of the capitals, but presenting the evenness of a unified surface. A plan dating from between 1880 and 1890 shows the ground floor of this area when, under the Third Republic, the premises were occupied by the Ministry of Finance. The layout of the offices had probably not been very different under Napoleon III. The plan also shows the entrance from the Rue de Rivoli to the minister's courtyard. It was from this courtyard that one obtained formal access to the grand staircase. This was probably the most elegant of the grand staircases that Le Fuel built in the Museum Palace. At the base of the staircase, various sculptures have been displayed. Some details were changed in the course of construction, and the finished staircase shows slightly simpler elegance than Le Fuel's drawing. The lamp at the foot of the staircase has been eliminated, as have the sculptures originally intended to decorate the top floor pilaster and the spandrel above. The balustrade of the gallery is now of stone, and the busts on it have been replaced by bronze urns. The curving wrought iron handrail is formed by a pattern of alternating shapes made by the ribbons of metal. Stylized florets and fruit stand out, and like the rail itself, are gilded. The regular pattern is interspersed with shields bearing a gilded letter N. The gilding matches that of the chandelier suspended over the central point of the staircase. The chandelier hangs from the centre of a sculpted plaster circle within a rectangle. Their basic geometry is disguised by much ornamentation. The corners of the rectangle creep down the coving. The decoration of the ceiling is one of the architectural features of the staircase. Others are the decoration of the archway supporting the landing, the arches of the gallery, the decoration of doorways, the false doors, the paintings. To the left of this photograph is the archway supporting the landing. Moving to the right, there is one of the paintings, then a false door, and at the right, one of the arches of the gallery. The archway supporting the landing springs from two corbels on the east and west walls of the stairwell. The underside is decorated its whole length, widening as it rises. At the centre it dips to display a rosette surrounded by foliage, while a side view displays a large mask under the centre of the metal balustrade of the landing. The male mask, sketched by Le Fuel, has become feminine. The landing looks out on what was the minister's courtyard and is now the glass-roofed Marly courtyard. Opposite the landing, the gallery links the minister's private apartments and the more public state rooms. It looks out towards the Denon and Mollien pavilions of the south wing. The stone balustrades carry marble columns with Corinthian capitals supporting two arches. The arches both have ornamented undersides. Opposite the windows, urns with branched lamps on top are perched on the balustrade. Two tall paintings with arched tops and within gilded frames are in the central position on the east and west walls of the staircase. Both paintings are by Charles-François d'Aubigné, 1817 to 1878, and date from 1861. Standing on the ground floor, under the chandelier, and looking up to the east, one sees d'Aubigny's painting of the Pavillon de Flore, and a false door to the right of it. Turning around, one sees the painting of the Tuileries Palace and Gardens, and a false door to the left of it. On the ground floor, doorways are decorated, but with greater or lesser complexity according to their size, position, and importance. The doors opening onto the stairs are plainly framed with arched tops. At the level of the ministerial apartments, the doorways are more elaborate, especially the decoration over the doors. At this level, there are matching, but not identical, stuccoed doorways, one at each end of the landing, one at each end of the gallery. Above each doorway is a marble panel. Above it, the curved pediment contains the face of a satyr, surrounded by foliage, ivy, laurel, vine, or oak. Above the head, and in front of the base of an urn, a swag joins two horns of plenty, resting on the pediment. Behind the urn is an oculus with marble overlay. Two false doorways are added to the four real ones, beside the gallery doors, but outside the balustrade, on the east and west walls of the stairwell. They are fronted with railings which match those of the staircase.